In 1978, Calgary, Alberta was the scene for the inaugural CP Challenge Cup, a midget hockey tournament won by the Red Deer Optimist Chiefs. Now called the Max World Invitational AAA Midget Hockey Tournament, this holiday tradition continues to showcase hockey's future. The best 15 to 17-year-old players from all corners of the globe come to Calgary to show their stuff to the world. Many NHL stars are seen here first. Mike Vernon, Mike Modano, Jerome McGinley, and Sidney Crosby all played in the Max. The 25 male and 15 female teams have been battling for the last 6 days for the chance to play on New Year's Day. For this, the Max Midget Championship Day on Shaw TV.
Well, we started our broadcast day at the Max Bell Arena and have made the 20-minute drive to the Scotiabank Saddledome in downtown Calgary for the male final of the Max Midget Hockey Championship. Now, tonight's game features a Calgary area team, the UFA Bisons from Strathmore, Alberta, against the furthest traveling team, Russia's Severstal Locomotiv. We'll have more on the Russian team in our first intermission, but for an analysis on tonight's matchup, let's go to Peter Loubardias and Bill Wims. Guys, we've made it here in the nick of time.
Yes, Alana, there was not a lot of time to spare, and thank goodness, Bill, that the proximity is pretty close. We had a gem of a final in the girls' event with Regina knocking off the Edmonton Thunder in overtime. I have a funny feeling we might be in for another gem here this evening.
Yeah, two teams that are undefeated, as so often you are when you get to this level, but I like this team from Russia.
The Russians are very skilled, and they're back in the tournament for the first time since winning it in 2007, and here's how they got to this point.
If you look up their goals total, they had 19 there, Peter, from 12 different goal scorers. You see what happened in the quarterfinals. They beat the team from the Czech Republic. And then really with only 14 skaters last night playing their second game in a day, they got the job done against St. Albert.
They're a little healthier, it looks like, for this game in the championship affair. Let's meet their captain and the rest of Severstal Locomotiv.
My name is Nikita Kvartalov. I am assistant captain of the Russian Severstal. We are a Russian team. Now meet my teammates.
Виктор Балдаев, номер 2, защитник.
Василий Хабаров, номер 6, нападающий.
Артем Першин, номер 9, защитник.
Назаров Виталий, номер 11, нападающий.
Олег Дубинин, номер 14, нападающий.
Ахмед Гимбатов, номер 15, нападающий.
Леонид Побатаев, номер 28, защитник.
Василий Демченко, номер 31, вратарь. Артур Чувеляев, номер 32, нападающий.
Егор Зайцев, номер 39, вратарь. Денис Бухальцев, номер 40, нападающий.
Никита Карнаухов, номер 55, защитник.
Николай Киселев, номер 68, нападающий.
Михаил Тихонов, номер 73, защитник.
Артем Воробьев, номер 81, нападающий.
Я Евгений Лызин, номер 87, нападающий.
Я Сергей Сахарусов, номер 93, защитник.
Я Александр Шаров, номер 96, нападающий.
Bill, I've had the opportunity to call a lot of Russian games in my career, but I can never make those names sound like that, and I won't be able to do it again tonight, but we'll give it our best shot. The UFA Bisons have more than given it their best shot. 5th in the Alberta Midget AAA League coming in, but boy, oh boy, they've hit lightning in a bottle when they've needed to.
Well, again, yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good Calgary Flames team they beat on December 1st, yesterday there in the quarterfinals, and arguably the best team in the entire, most complete team in the boys division here, the Prince Albert Mentos. They came in the tournament 25-4 into the playoffs, 25 goals scored, 4 against. That was a big win over that team, and maybe they're just peaking at the right time as well.
They've played exceptionally well. Let's meet their captain and the rest of his mates.
I'm Mitch McAllister, number 10, captain of the UFA Bisons. We are a tough and gritty team. Now meet my teammates.
Wilson Sproul, number 1, goalie.
Lenny Hackman, number 2, defense.
Tyler Hayes, number 3, defense.
Parker Evans Campbell, number 4, center.
Tyler Wong, number 5, left wing.
Zach Wittenberg, number 6, defense.
Dale Nerlin, number 7, defense.
Rylan Muntrath, number 8, left wing.
Chandler Irvin, number 9, defense.
Devin Westby, number 11, right wing.
Aaron Macklin, number 12, left wing.
Kevin O'Rourke, number 14, left wing.
Austin Massey, number 16, right wing.
Josh Betnall, number 17, center.
Connor Bleakley, number 18, right wing.
Alex Bechtold, number 21, center.
Owen Ferguson, number 22, defense.
Brody Villette, number 23, left wing.
Grayson Sharp, number 30, goalie.
Bill, 2 unbeaten teams. Something's got to give because somebody's going to win this game and the title.
Yeah, the Bison won it in 1998. This team from Russia won this tournament in 07. They've obviously totally different players, but the history, the background of winning at the Max is there, and I'm sure they're going to get it done again today.
Down to ice level again, and here's Alana.
Thanks, guys. First period action is coming up after the break. You are watching the Max Midget Championship on Shaw TV.
The 34th Annual Max Midget Hockey Championship, brought to you by Max Convenience Stores, celebrating 50 years in business. For details, visit mymax.ca.
WHL Hockey is live on Shaw. Watch Friday, January 6th when the WHL on Shaw returns from the holiday break with the Southern Alberta dust-up between the Medicine Hat Tigers and Lethbridge Hurricanes. WHL Hockey, only on Shaw.
Celebrate the kickoff to Recreation's 100th anniversary with hockey in Calgary. Olympic Plaza will come alive on January 1st with skating, hockey demos, and activities in partnership with Hockey Calgary and the 2012 IIHF World Junior Championship. Visit calgary.ca Rec 100 for details.
The 34th Annual Max Midget Hockey Championship, brought to you by Red Bull Crashed Ice, returning to Quebec City in 2012. For more details, visit redbull.ca.
And ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to please remain standing and join Miss Hannah Smart in the singing of the Canadian National Anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
What better way to kick off 2012 than to renew the Canada-Russia rivalry with the title of the Max Midget Tournament on the line, as Canada being represented by the UFA Bisons. As for Russia, Severstal, Locomotiv. This is 17-year-old Vasily Demchenko in the 2 playoff games yesterday. Spectacular. He turned aside 72 of the 75 shots he's faced. And make no mistake, for the team that hails out of Strathmore, Alberta, nearby here in Calgary, 17-year-old Wilson Sproul, a huge reason, Bill Wilms, why this team has made it to championship Sunday night. He's turned aside 52 of the last 56 shots that he has faced.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Peter. In the league that he plays in, this is the Alberta Midget League, he's a .913 save percentage, but he's elevated in the round robin to .945. You don't win this tournament, you don't win many tournaments without top-level goaltending. Wilson Spruill's only 5'9", doesn't cover a ton of net, but boy, is he a battler.
Igor Petrov, the head coach of this Russian team, trying to win a Max tournament title for the second time since 2007 when they beat the Vancouver Northwest Giants. Jeremy Friesen, in his first year as the head coach, behind the bench of the UFA Bisons.
Well, the thing, too, that both coaches have to be cognizant of in this tournament, it can be a real grind, and one of the things you have to be careful about is you don't wear your guys down. Remember, they're 16, 15, 17-year-old players, and yesterday they all played 2 games.
They met in a pre-tournament game in Strathmore on December 23rd. The Russians won that game 4-2. This is Winner Take All, and we're underway. Glad to have you with us wherever you're looking in on Shaw. Alexander Sherov, a talented 16-year-old, stopped up at the line. Baldayev pressured by Connor Bleakley, who has 5 goals to lead the Bisons in the tournament. He's a first-round pick of the Red Deer Rebels, 21st overall in the 2011 Bantam draft. His shot is blocked. Mikhail Tikhonov. Pass Vorobyov, and out to center it goes. The Russians changing. Here's Bleakley. Connor Bleakley, his pass attempt. Blocked as Tikhonov tries to play it past him and unable to do so. Turning is Mitch McAllister. McAllister, watched closely by Denis Buhalsev. Good early pressure by the Bisons. Macklin to the front of the net, and Baldayev knocked that down, and back comes Artur Chuvalayev. Chuvalayev to the line. Leaves it for Kiselev, and it's blown down on the offside.
I love the resilience that the Russians showed yesterday in that semifinal game. We talked about it a little bit in our open, but really the turning point of that hockey game, remember they had 14 skaters. They're trailing 2-0 against St. Albert. They kill off a 2-man advantage, a St. Albert advantage, and then turn the game around. They start pecking away, got it to 2-1, 2-2, and scored in the last 2 minutes to win that game.
In transition, this Russian team is dynamite. You can't afford to make those mistakes in neutral ice. Pretty typical of a lot of talented Russian teams.
Terrific quickness, Peter.
Kiselev directs it out to center, and Owen Ferguson will shoot it right back in. The 17-year-old defenseman, he has 2 goals in this tournament. Tyler Wong, he's a 15-year-old. Draft pick of the Medicine Hat Tigers. Brody Villette to Tyler Wong. Wong's pass, good stick that time from Nazarov, and again, the Bisons collect it. Villette, good lead pass. Here's the speedy Josh Betnall trying to drive the net. Failed to take the puck with him. Ferguson into the slot. Betnall, a quick shot. That one goes wide. Baldayev towards Vartalnov, and the puck out to center ice and cleared directly back in as the Bisons control the early part of play here to begin this game. Vartalnov scampers into the zone, taps it in front. Dubinin had a chance, but stick lifted by Alex Bechtold might have saved the goal. As Dubinin was by himself briefly. Tikhonov a drive, and that hits Massey. Russians' first good pressure. Vartalnov drives it right through the crease, and he's stopped. Chandler Irvin, 5 points, enjoying an excellent tournament. Mikhail Tikhonov to Ahmed Gimbatov. Gimbatov enters the zone, puts on the brakes, back towards the line, and it'll come out to neutral ice. Dubinin. Sharov has to wait for his mates to get onside. He's crunched by the Bison's captain McAllister. Plays big despite the fact he's about 5'10". And he is number 10 and carries in this time, but it's offside.
This is what I think that the Bison have to be careful about, as most teams do when they play a Russian team, Peter. This is a guy that's going to run into all kinds of problems checking-wise there, but guess what? He gets a puck to the far side of the net. That's Dubinin going to the net. Often the guy in the Russian system without the puck is most dangerous. He'll sneak in behind you, he'll get to the spot and open ice, and goodness knows this team is good at getting him the puck.
Russians top line on the ice right now with Leeson, Vorobyov, and Sharov. And Leeson and Sharov are both just 16.
Well, the thing that the Russians do so well, and we've seen that every year that we watch this team play, and I've talked about it earlier, the quickness, the explosiveness, they lose their checks quickly, quick turns. They're very, very solid on their skates. They're tough to knock off the puck. I mean, to put it simply, Peter, they're very, very fantastic at the individual skills. But having said that, I think the UFA Bisons have done a nice job of trying to set the tempo here in the first period.
They're hard to score on and hard to play against, and that's exactly how Jeremy Friesen's team has been in this tournament.
And again, like we said in the girls, the females when we did it, Jeremy Friesen known to tell his guys, boy, this is the tournament you remember the rest of your life. Let's just go out and win it now. It becomes a little bit more memorable.
Parker Evans-Campbell to center Aaron Macklin off of Parker Evans-Campbell, and Demchenko forced to make a good save. Kiselev knocked off the puck by Evans-Campbell again. Evans-Campbell, number 4 of the Bisons, with 3 goals in the tournament, quickly up the middle towards Denis Puhaltsev, and William Sproul taking no chances.
Vasily Demchenko, you talked about it, Peter. He's been really, really solid. You said 72 of the last 75 shots he's faced, he's saved. He's played every single game in this tournament so far for the Russian hockey club.
Bisons find themselves shorthanded, a kneeing penalty to number 11, Devin Westby, and the Russians with the game's first power play. And you don't want to be taking a lot of penalties against this group.
UFA Bisons penalty number 11, Devin Westby.
Artem Pershin. Pressured by McAllister, in deep and aggressive. Vartalnov. Habarov, as Irvin strips him of the puck, but he lost his stick in the process. Nazarov finds Vartalnov. Karnakov. And now Artem Pershin. That shot deflected wide of the net. Betnall, speedy winger, finds an opening and backhands it down the ice. Betnall, 2 goals and an assist in the tournament, has his stick slashed out of his hand, and there goes the Russian power play, Bill.
Yeah, again, you know what was impressive for the Bison? The shot went, they picked it up, and they got it out. And then as the Russians try to bring it back in, Joshua Betnall, I thought did a terrific job of moving up to force the pressure right along the boards. There he is, and he's hauled down. That's a little bit of concern by the Russian team that, we may give up a shorthanded chance, and rightfully so.
Teams will play 4-on-4 as Igor Petrov looks on for the next 1 minute and 12 seconds.
He loves to see the tempo of this tournament and how his team reacts. One of the first tournaments that they play, usually for this Severstal Locomotiv team, they come over here and he just wants to see if his team can react to the pace of the play. And obviously they've been doing a pretty good job.
In this tournament, it's an interesting format. You play 2 playoff games, Bill, on the same day. And the Russians beat a very good St. Albert team last night. 3-2, they trailed 2-0, and they did so with only 14 skaters.
Yeah. They're somewhat unorthodox at times. I found that in that game last night. To start the third period, teams came on the ice. There were 2 Russian players that went to the goaltender. No other Russian player came on the ice for, a good 30, 40 seconds. They hugged each other a little bit. The game was still on the line. But boy, when it comes to those puck handling skills, it's impressive. Now, 4-on-4, it's all about puck possession. You don't dump, you don't chase. You want to make sure that you've got pucks.
Tyler Wong muscled down by Sharov. And Zach Wittenberg clears it in. Wittenberg's been a nice addition. Plays primarily midget AA hockey in Strathmore with Wheatland. Sharov with some room. Sharov! He's hooked down. Might it be a penalty shot? Probably not.
Well, again, this is how quickly they move it up the ice. They do it 5-on-5. The Russians do. Why not do it 4-on-4 equally well? Watch this quick headman pass. Again, that's just skating into open ice. Wow, they catch you know, the UFA Bisons, Zach Wickenberg having to come back. Yeah, it's awful close. And boy, look at the goaltender trying to make sure. He's got no idea that net's knocked off its moorings. He's only got one job in mind, Wilson Sproul, and that's keep that puck from going over the line. But there's the penalty. And for the Bison, Peter, lucky, I think it's not a penalty shot.
Pretty close. Wittenberg sits down for hooking, and the Russians work now 4-on-3. 18-year-old Artem Vorobyov, Sherov, and Tikhonov. Vorobyov to Tikhonov. Tikhonov again. Vorobyov through the seam, Sherov and Sproul got across in a hurry. Vorobyov, Tikhonov, Baldaev, robbed twice as Sproul comes up large, as he's done all tournament. Vorobyov again for Tikhonov. Look at the puck movement here. Tikhonov, block shot by McAllister. Vorobyov through the seam, forces Sproul to make a great save. Now 4-on-4 as Sherov's shot going wide, but gloved by William Sproul.
What a job. You know, when you're on a 4-on-3 or 5-on-3 situation, this is a 4-on-3, you want to get the goaltender, Peter, in what's called a no angle or a zero angle position. He's got no depth, he's got no angle, and he's got no body position, except that little guy battles like crazy. And I've never seen a goaltender that small battle any harder than I've seen Wilson Sproul do. And then right after that, they got a great block shot. You need that when you're killing a penalty off.
Bill, in my travels, I've seen him about 10 or 11 times this year. I've yet to see him have a bad night.
Well, you know, when you're 5'9", you expose a lot of the net, so you must rely on two things, your positioning and your reflexes. And man, is this kid quick. He wasn't even close to being beaten on those two.
So true. Leeson 4-on-4 for 5 more seconds. And then the Russians head back to the power play again, which technically I believe would be their third.
Well, you got me working with you, and I'm never going to be good at keeping stats, Pete. I never have. I rely on you guys.
Bechtold, Alex Bechtold, the 17-year-old. His brother Markson is a very good player, a 15-year-old, but he's hurt. He got hurt earlier in the tournament. Buhaltsev has 8 points. He's the Russians' leading scorer. Denis Buhaltsev drops it off. The return pass. Baldaev right on target. It didn't look like it had much on it, but it caused Sproul some issues, but he turned it aside anyway. Baldaev for Kiselev. And Kiselev failed to handle it. And the Russians ice the puck as that shortened power play comes to a conclusion.
You know, it's an old cliche, and I don't always like to use it, but it is so true, isn't it, Peter? The goaltender often has to be your best penalty killer, and it just always seems to come down to that. And certainly Sproul was there.
Bleakley with a very hard wrist shot off the draw, and Demchenko with a great save of his own. Bleakley with 3 of his 5 goals in the playoffs, including the game winner in yesterday's semifinal win over the Saskatchewan Midget AAA League's Prince Albert Mintos. Bleakley for Ryland Munchrath. Tikhonov swats it to the line, and now Leeson helps it out. Sharov 2-on-1 developing. Leeson, I believe, is going to take a penalty.
Yeah, you know what he did there? He kind of held his man up. This is another really good call. It might be an obvious call. I'm not so sure about that. But Leeson just holds the UFA Bison player up so that he can get a chance to break away. That's the save. That was a Bleakley's chance, I think, that you were talking about. Here it is. Watch him. Watch him hold him. See him hold him right there? That allows his teammate to come in and pick up the puck. Good eyes, good call.
The Bisons with a power play now. Pass out of the reach. They wave off the icing. The Russians didn't like that very much as Karnakov clears it, not out.
Severstal Locomotiv penalty.
Pershin a chance to do so, and Artem Pershin makes no mistake. Chandler Irvin, 5 points in the tournament. He'll shoot it in. Pershin back to it first to Buhaltsev. And he effectively uses the glass to send it the length of the ice.
You know, you get those dump-ins like that. One of the skills of a good dump-in, Peter, is putting it into a spot that you can retrieve it.
Parker Evans Campbell for the slot area. No trouble again for Buhaltsev. And down the ice it goes. Teams making changes. 1:03 to go on the power play. Owen Ferguson. He dumps it in. Betnall racing after it. Takes a solid jolt from Tikhonov, and Tikhonov's been very strong in the early part of this opening period.
Again, 3 times the Bison have tried to dump it in. Not once have they retrieved it. They got 37 seconds left on a power play. Now that is a battle for that loose puck. All right, we got possession. Let's go to work.
McAllister leads the team in points in the tournament with 6. Lost his balance. And shorthanded, this is Nikolai Kiselev. Takes it right back from Ferguson. Kiselev, wrist shot off a stick of his own defender, and Sproul saw that go just wide. Bleakley in transition. Connor Bleakley lopes into the zone. Bleakley tied up by Persson. Wins the battle to McAllister. McAllister trying to jam it on the short side. Demchenko would have none of it. Backhanded, held in by Nerland, and then off Bleakley and out to neutral ice. So Severstal Locomotiv able to kill off the Bisons' power play. Gimbatov at 5 points in a game in this tournament against the Vancouver Canadians. Vartelnov, a dangerous forward. Gimbatov to Vartalnov. Big Dale Nerland with good body position on Vartelnov, and then some help from Wittenberg. Persson carries on, tipped in front by Gimbatov. Went through the crease and wide. Massey trying to settle it down, but he can't handle it. Habarov. His wrister, that hits Massey and goes wide as the Russians applying all kinds of pressure looking for the game's first goal. And Bechtold skeets it out. Alex Bechtold. And Tikhonov with an old-fashioned hip check as he continues to have an impact in this game. Chandler Irvin moves in. Irvin and another block shot, and guess who? Tikhonov again.
He's been everywhere. Good job. 5'11", 165, skates well, body position excellent.
Some kind of start to the game for Mikhail Tikhonov. That pass off Tyler Wong's stick and out of play. You're watching the championship game of the Max Midget Tournament from Scotiabank Saddledome on Shaw Television. No score here in the first period. This is not the Russian coach, but the interpreter, Vladimir, joining us. And how's the Russian coach Petrov felt about the start to this game?
Well, the UFA Bisons is pretty speed team, very fast, very good team. We have played an exhibition against them, and it should be a tough game.
Thanks so much for joining us. Best of luck.
Yep, thank you.
Evgeny Lezin, a backhander, goes wide. Lezin was terrific in the 2 playoff wins yesterday over Hamatov of the Czech Republic, and then in the semi-final victory over St. Albert. Lezin into the slot. Sharov robbed again by Sproul. William Sproul, sensational in this first period. Brody Vallette. He'll shoot it in. Gives chase. Persson to Sharov. Just out of the reach of Kiselev as Karnakov carries in. Here's Aaron Macklin, but there to greet him is Buhaltsev. Bill, way more energy in the Russian game to begin tonight than the second game they played last night against St. Albert.
Yeah, no question, but I love the way the Bison are responding to that as well, although it's been an awful lot of the goaltender William Sproul. The Russians out shooting UFA right now 8-2.
These kids have played a lot of hockey this week. Game 7 for both of them. Kiselev set up beautifully by Chuvalev. Kiselev again. Chuvalev drives the net. Ran into Sproul. The Russians showing how talented they can be here in the first, despite the fact they have yet to find the back of the net. Out shooting the UFA Bisons to this point, 8-2.
So often we talk about winning battles along the boards and having guys go to the net. We talked about the Russians being able to do that. Watch off the back wall. Terrific body position. Peter, you can't go in there and forecheck any better than that and then make that pass. Look where William Sproul is. He's just at the top of the paint or the crease area, which is exactly where you have to be. He hasn't lost position, Peter, one time so far in the net. We've played 6 minutes and 11 seconds. It's a scoreless tie. He's faced 8 Russian shots, and he's literally not only been flawless, but look at his position. Look where he goes. Look how he reads the play. Not the biggest guy. Get out of my way so I can see that puck. That's all he wants to do is get it and freeze it, and he's done a great job.
Listed at 5'8" and 150 pounds. Bleakley through the seam, knocked down by Viktor Baldaev. And here's the Russians again. Khabarov, Vartalnov, Nazarov, the one-timer, but well wide of the net. Told you they're pretty good in transition. McAllister, his shot, and that's scooped easily by Vasily Demchenko.
You know, Peter, it seems so simple to talk about it, but it's done so many times in practice. But when you rush up the ice, what do you want to do? Watch the Russians. They cover length and width of the ice. Is this a turnover we're going to see right here? And then a great job of going the other way where they've got guys going left side, they got going right side, and they got guys coming up the middle. And you just can't cover an attack any better than that.
Ferguson to Tyler Hayes. Good lead pass for Bechtel. Ahmed Gimbatov runs in to Haste. Haste is property of the Swift Current Broncos. They listed him last year. Pershin on the wing, Gimbatov, and here's a 2-on-1 developing. Buhaltsev and Dubinin. Buhaltsev, Dubinin tried to go back to Gimbatov, the third member of the line, but it was broken up. Pershin, Gimbatov can't find it, and the Bisons ice the puck.
That's a good play to ice it. I'm going to tell you why. There was that 2-on-1 that developed, and they just missed as the player tried to feed it back to the high trailing man. And Peter, right after that, it was a turnover by the UFA Bisons. And when they got that puck back again, they realized, listen, we just made 2 mistakes. We're not going to make a third one. We'll take the face-off in our zone.
Wong, and just pushed in on the offside. 15-year-old Tyler Wong helped Team Alberta to a gold medal at the Under-16 Prospects Tournament put on by the Western Hockey League in October in Moose Jaw. A very strong group of 15-year-old hockey players coming to a Western Hockey League arena near you soon.
Absolutely. We have UFA Bisons, you mentioned this earlier, 5 players listed or drafted by Western Hockey League teams. The Western Hockey League players in the Max tournament, the Medicine Hat Tigers, the Lethbridge Hurricanes, and the Spokane Chiefs all had 11 players in the event. And we won't even go down the list of how many had less than 10, but believe me, there's a lot of representatives playing in this tournament.
Vorobyov one-on-one with Chandler Irvin, who does well. Sproul at the side of the net, having trouble controlling it. Leeson to a loose puck. Evgeny Leeson. And Wong breaks it up and sends it ahead to Betnal, and Betnal greeted immediately by 16-year-old defenseman Viktor Baldaev.
Yeah, I think the Bisons have to find a way, and this is what happens. And, you know, a good team will always respond when pushed. You don't want to be passive. You don't want to be a watcher in your own zone. You want to be proactive. A lot of pace dictated at this point by the team that's got the puck right now, and somehow those are the turnovers they're looking for.
An opportunity for Ferguson, but A good block shot by Karnakov.
Yeah, good job by Ferguson. 2 goals, one of 4 Bisons with 2 goals in the round robin. Irving, Bleakley, Evans, Campbell, the other, picks that puck up, gets to that spot for the shot. Even a better. That is an impressive block. You're going to make a mistake. You want to make sure that you get back and get a piece of it. A little bit of an unorthodox block, but it was at that, and it got it up into the netting.
Nikolai Kiselev. A nifty move through the feet of Ferguson. The Russians have brought their A game to this final, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing to show for it yet, though. That's the great news if you're a supporter of the UFA Bisons.
You know what happens after, a while of this kind of pressure, Peter? And I mean, the shots are 8-3, but let's be honest, there's been, I'm going to count 5 pretty good scoring chances. But what happens eventually is the team starts wearing you down. They wear you down. The more you play in your own zone, the more you're always having to make decisions on who to cover. And, often the case is, who's my man to cover and how long do I stay with him?
Rylan Munchrath runs into Mikhail Tikhonov, and then Bleakley upends Baldayev. Baldayev quickly towards Chuvalayev. Artur Chudalayev to Kiselev. He scored 2 in the quarterfinal against the Czechs yesterday. Buhaltsev in behind Chuvalayev. And Dale Nerlin carries ahead. Nerlin picked a pretty good time, Bill, to score his first goal of the year, period, yesterday. The winner in the quarterfinal triumph over the Calgary Flames.
Obviously, kids just love when the game's on the line to do that kind of thing. You're right. UFA Bison, Peter, they're the only team in the tournament without their names on their jersey?
Could be. Irvin squeezes Vartelnov down with a solid jolt.
Oh, those are good one-on-one battles. To beat the Russians, you have to win the one-on-one battles. There's one there.
Persson, weak shot.
There's a battle going to be there.
Lenny Hackman, a good outlet. Then Massey turns it over. Habarov one-hands it to Vartelnov. Quick turning Vartelnov to Persson. And in the shooting lane was Massey. Good block by Massey that time as O'Rourke has it along the boards. Kevin O'Rourke to Chandler Irvin. And the Bisons exit the zone as Bechtold clears it in. Under 2 minutes to go in what's been an entertaining first period of this Max Midget AAA final. Artem Persson to Oleg Dubinin, and he's crunched. You could feel it all the way up here by Tyler Wong.
You take that puck up at the blue line. You take it at any time where you're not sure what's behind you. Tyler Wong, 5'9", a 15-year-old, 168 pounds, comes in and makes that hit. By the way, 11 goals, 10 assists, the 21 points for Wong, second on the UFA Bison in scoring. And you mentioned it earlier, Peter, he is a 5th-round Lethbridge Hurricane draft pick.
5 assists in the tournament. Tikhonov. Ferguson backhands it. Buhaltsev ran into Villette. Villette playing up front on the wing. He's played a lot of defense this season. Number 23 of the Bisons. Sproul out to play it. Sweeps it for Haste. It's a tough pass on the boards to handle that time. Betnall trying to dig it loose. Clears it, not out. Karnakov kept it in.
Play in the first period.
Buhaltsev, 8 points in the tournament. Gimbatov on the cycle with Dubinin and Buhaltsev. Haste in good position, lost his stick as he kicked it along the boards. Buhaltsev again with some room, tries to go upstairs. So quick off the boards. Bill, you mentioned that to me when we were watching the game last night.
That first step explosiveness, huh?
No better illustration than Buhaltsev right there to get to the net.
And Peter, what we're going to show you here is what the Bisons can't do. Sproul's going to make a good play to go back behind the net and clear the puck. And watch where they put it. They put it right to the wall blindly, and there's a Russian player right there to make sure that he's got it. You can't give this puck to that spot there because they're going to be on you. Puck support is great. You're going to turn it over every time. You have to make passes to guys, obviously, that are open. And, Peter, that's sometimes fairly hard to do, to read the guy you're giving the puck to see what kind of time and space he's got.
9.9, and another face-off will come up deep in the Bison zone.
And that's one of the big, huge differences between the midget, the Western Hockey League level, and the National Hockey League level. Guys will tell you they're playing the NHL. I mean, Peter, you've been there for a couple years. You know, guys will tell you it's easier to take a pass at the higher level you go because the guys read your openness quicker and better.
To the left of Wilson Sproul, who has been sensational for UFA in this first period. He's the reason there's no goals. Wong, a last-second chance, fires it wide, and first period comes to an end. Still looking for our first goal of this championship affair. Wilson Sproul turning aside all 8 shots that he faced.
Yeah, and sometimes you're going to have that kind of goaltending, Peter. Obviously, you've heard it said many times till your team gets their feet underneath them, get their legs kind of stabilized, if you will. Although I did like the way the Bison started. The Russians kind of took over. Their skill level, again, very, very obvious. And it ends up being 0-0 after 20 minutes, like you say, largely because of Wilson Sproul, the goaltender for the UFA Bisons.
Sproul was terrific. And the Russians with a good start, but nothing to show for it. The team Severstal Locomotiv.
By the way, we should mention, too, that there's this team over there on your screen right now. We talk about playing with heavy hearts. Kids, coaches, team officials. They knew a lot of those players on that Yaroslav Locomotiv team that was killed in that tragic plane crash. And on that left shoulder, they're wearing a patch that says 0709 in the front of their jerseys in memory of that tragic, tragic day.
Bison's leading scorer in the tournament and all year is their captain, Mitchell McAllister. Mitchell, thanks for taking time out. Your thoughts on what occurred in that first 20 minutes?
Definitely, I think we got more to give. They're a quick team. They come at you quick. We got a match at, and it's going to be crucial first couple shifts of the second.
Did their transition game take you by surprise at all?
I don't think so. I think we knew what they had coming in. I don't think that we were at our best, and I think that's why we looked a little bit flat out there.
Mitchell, you've really come together as a team in this tournament. It's been a tough season. You guys have not lost a lot of games in regulation. What's allowed you to kind of take it to a different level here at the Max tournament?
Definitely, we had a lot of learning experience throughout the year. We've had lots of close games where we've had to dig deep and really find a way to either win or get the tie late in the game. So I mean, everything throughout the season has really propelled us to be here right now.
Mitchell, thanks a lot for joining us. Congratulations and best of luck the rest of the way.
All right, thank you.
Mitchell McAllister, the fine captain of the UFA Bisons. Canada-Russia. A lot of Team Canada type affairs going on in this building this week. Right now, the Canadian colors carried by the UFA Bisons in a tie with the Russians after one.
The 34th Annual Max Midget Hockey Championship, brought to you by Max Convenience Stores, celebrating 50 years in business. For details, visit mymax.ca.